Hello students, I welcome you all to this video lecture on capital gains. In this illustration, we'll understand how to compute capital gains. So, first let us look at the question. Mr. Murthy sells his only residential house in Bangalore on 18th August 2018. For us, this data is important, for rupees 90 lakh. So, the full value of consideration is 90 lakh and incurs an expenditure of rupees 1,40,000 in connection with the transfer. So this will be expenses incidental to transfer. Cost of acquisition for him in 1998 year of acquisition, very important, was rupees 3,60,000. So the amount back then, whatever he paid was rupees 3,60,000. He has sold that for 90 lakhs. And on 1st April 2001, the fair market value was rupees 4 lakh. So there is a rule which says if before this date, if any assets are acquired, what the assessee can do is he can compare the cost of acquisition, actual cost of acquisition, with the fair market value as on 1/4/2001, and whichever is beneficial for him, that amount can be taken. So if you see here, the actual cost of acquisition is 3,60,000, whereas fair market value as on 1/4/2001 is 4 lakh. So we will take this amount as cost of acquisition. Next, on 10th January 2019, he purchased a residential apartment in Mangalore for rupees 10 lakh. So what has he done? First, he has sold the house, residential house, and in place of that residential house, whatever capital gains has arisen, that amount has been once again invested in another residential apartment. So under which section will the assessee be able to claim exemption? Yes, you are right, under section 54, and deposited rupees 2 lakh in CGAS scheme. So we have got the necessary data. I'll repeat once again for you. Sells his only residential house in Bangalore on 18th August 2018, the date of transfer, for rupees 90 lakh, the amount of transfer. Incurs an expenditure rupees 1,40,000 in connection with the transfer. So this is expenses incidental to transfer. Cost of acquisition of house for him in 1998, actual cost of acquisition was rupees 3,60,000, and 1/4/2001 the fair market value was rupees 4 lakh. So we have to compare actual cost of acquisition because it is before 1/4/2001. We will compare this amount with the fair market value as on 1/4/2001. So 4 lakh, which is high, 4 lakh. So we will take rupees 4 lakh as cost of acquisition. On 10th January 2019, so 18th August he has sold. While he is purchasing, he has 1 year before or 2 years after time, but he has purchased within, let's say, 7-8 months. So 10th January 2019, he purchased a residential apartment in Mangalore for rupees 10 lakh and also has deposited 2 lakh in the capital gain account scheme. When nothing is mentioned, we have to assume that the deposit has been taken place before before the due date of filing returns. So they have also given the cost inflation index 2001, 2002, 100, 2018, 19, 280. So let's jump on to the solution. This is a question paper problem for the year. This came in the year April-May 2015. So please remember, while you are referring to the question paper, old question paper, ignore the year given, even if it isn't the previous year. What we have to do, change the year. Let the date be as it is. Change the year to 2018. Okay. So that for us it will become the previous year. We'll start. We all know what we have to do. We have to have 3 columns, particulars and 2 amount column. First, we'll start with sale proceeds of the residential house. We have taken note there. It is sold for 90 lakhs. Then we have to go for deduction of the necessary items. First we will go for index the cost of acquisition. If you recall the formula for index the cost of acquisition, we have to take the amount, that is cost of acquisition, whatever was the cost of acquisition, we should multiply that with cost inflation index for the year of transfer. For us here, the year of transfer is 2018-19 and cost inflation index for 2018-19 is 280. Divide that by cost inflation index for the year of acquisition. A year of acquisition was 1998, but for us, always remember, whenever the assets are acquired prior to 2001, the base year always will be 2001-2 itself. So cost inflation index, we will not go searching for cost inflation index of 1998-99. What we will do is, we will take the cost inflation index of 2001-2002. Always remember this. If the assets are acquired prior to 2001, always the base will be 100. That is, cost inflation index for 2001-2002 will be taken every single time. So 4 lakh into 280 divided by 100, 11 lakh 20,000. Then expenses incidental to transfer, 1 lakh 40,000. So when you add these two, you will get 12 lakh 60,000. This 12 lakh 60,000 should be deducted from 90 lakh. Please see here, there is no cost of improvement. Hence, we have not gone for computing index the cost of improvement. Had they given there is some improvement done in the house and cost of improvement was given, then we would have gone for index the cost of improvements, but nothing is to be done here. Next, we'll get a long-term capital gain. When you deduct 12 lakh 60,000 from 90 lakh, 77 lakh 40,000 is the long-term capital gain. And please remember, this long-term capital gain, which has arose from selling a residential house, has been once again used to buy another house. So the SSE can claim exemption under section 54, right? So exemption under section 54 will be deducted. Cost of new house, we all know it is 10 lakh. So 77 lakh 40,000 minus 10 lakh, 67 lakh 40,000 rupees. Please remember here, exemption under section 54 is available only for purchase of one house. As the SSA has already purchased the new house in Mangalore, he cannot claim exemption on the amount deposited in CGAS. So had he not purchased the house, if he was constructing the house and 10 lakh rupees was a initial amount spent, then that 2 lakh could have been used as or claimed as exemption, but has already purchased the house. There is nothing else to be done here. So it is restricted. Exemption under 54 is restricted only for one house. So this 10 lakh he can claim, but that 2 lakh extra amount, whatever he has deposited in CGS, he will not be eligible to claim that as deduction under section 54. So taxable capital gain from this particular transaction for our SSE Mr. Murthy is 67 lakh 40,000. On this amount, he'll have to pay 20% tax to the government. So thank you.